So there we are in the middle of this huge hotel lobby. It's a conference, a bunch of people, they're drinking, they're having, cocktails and hors d'oeuvres. It's a classy type of thing. I'm sitting with a few people, right? As I don't drink or do that, and then all of a sudden, they thought I was joking. A guy walks in from DoorDash into this hotel with a little bag from wherever, Walgreens, CVS, Pop-Tarts, Gatorade, right there in the middle of the lobby. Got my Pop-Tarts and my Gatorade. Steve Weiner from GetRubix.com, and today we're going to keep going with our pre-migration script, and we're going to talk about how we back up data to Azure Blob storage if we can't do it locally. Pop-Tarts in real time. Okay, so just to back up a second, we've assessed our disk space. We're determining our migration method. So basically what we're doing is if the free space is greater than the local required space, we set our variable to local, okay? And we go ahead and we back everything up locally to a staged directory. Okay, so now else if the free space is greater than the blob required space, and this basically now we've said you only need 2 times the free space to see if you have, because we have to do some compression to put it in blob. We set the variable to blob, and I actually liked what we wrote up here, so I'm going to copy that. So let's do that. So right host, free space to transfer of user data via blob storage. Okay, great. So how do we do this? How do we get it to blob storage, right? What does that look like? So the first thing we have to do is we're going to have to, so we already set migrate method to blob. Okay, we're going to have to create a container for this instance. Now, the container is going to be, we're going to use that GUID we generated so that the device knows it always has the GUID. It can find the GUID in blob storage. It's unique. So let's say container name is equal to the GUID. And now we're going to create a new container, new AZ storage container name, context, and that's going to be our Azure storage context, since we're already authenticated. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing for each location. For each location in locations, we have to basically compress them and put them in blob storage. Let's take a quick look at the flow here. So if I have my documents location, I can very easily take that, the whole folder, and compress it to documents.zip. And then once it's there, that can be moved to blob storage. And we can upload. Pretty straightforward. Now what happens if I try to do the exact same thing with AppData local? So the biggest problem we're going to have is if we try to make that AppData local.zip, it will not upgrade to blob storage, because blob storage will not take the special character. So what we have to do is we first are going to have to take AppData local, okay, and we're going to have to take the contents from AppData local and put it first in a folder and replace the \, get rid of it basically. And now from there, we will compress it to a location called AppData local.zip to upload it. But we don't have to do that with these. So how are we going to solve for that? So this is going to look worse than it is. So the first thing we're going to do for each location in the location, okay, we're going to set our user location first, because that's going to stay the same, right? Users user location. We're going to take the blob location and call that location. And then what we're going to do is we are going to say if the blob location, basically what this is going to say is it doesn't contain any special characters. So if the blob location has anything other than your usual suspects, what do? We make a blob name, and that is going to equal that location. And we're just going to take that out. Yep. There we go. And we've replaced that. So now we have a new name for it. So what we can do is we can say the backup location basically where we're going to put this thing. We're going to use the local path that we've set earlier, C program data Intune migration, and blob name. Seems pretty straightforward, right? Because that's just going to be the location without the backslash. And we can go ahead and create that. If test path backup location, meaning if there is none, what do? We make the backup location. Great. Now that we have a place to put all this stuff, we robocopy. So user location to backup location. And same parameters. Okay, and we can say write host data from user location to backup location. Okay, now we got to compress it. So where are we going to compress it? We're going to press it to the essentially the same inside the same place. Now that we have it, right? So compress archive path is backup location. And our destination, right? The destination is going to be the root of the local path and the blob name. And that'll be nice and zipped up for us right there. Yep. Yeah. Right host, compressed, backup location to local path, blob name .zip. Now that we have the compressed file without the backslash, we can post it. So we can set AZ storage blob content. The file is going to be local path blob name .zip. The container is going to be container name, which is our GUID. And the blob is going to just be blob name. Actually, let's put that in quotes. The container is going to be blob name .zip. And we'll add our context. Context, force, and we'll do a little out null here just to make sure it's done. And once it's done, we'll write host blob name .zip uploaded to storage account name blob storage. And now we can remove those two pieces, so we're not left with extra space. If item path, backup location, the curse force, and we can remove the item, the actual compressed item as well. Local path, blob name .zip, the curse force. So this will take care of, what did I do? This will take care of anything with a special character in it. So, but what we need here is an else, meaning if there's no special character, we just go about our business. And this is going to be a lot shorter because we only have to compress it. So the blob name is going to be equal to the blob location. And remember, the blob location we already set up here as the location. This way we just keep the original name intact. So equals blob location. And now we can just go right to a compress archive. Compress archive. Path, user location, destination path is, we're going to put this right in the local path. Blob name. Force. We will write that again. We can actually borrow that. Compressed user location to local path blob name.zip. Now we just set our content. So again, I'm just going to pull this since it's pretty close. Local path blob name, container name, blob name.zip. Yep, it's the exact same thing. And after this, we write host. That could be the same thing, actually. In fact, we should be able to copy all this and just get rid of the backup location one. So we wrote host and we deleted the blob. Yep. All right, cool. That took care of that. Now, of course, else, if you can't migrate, the migrate method is not applicable. And we're just going to write host, not enough local space. Actually, we can put some numbers here. So we could put free space gigabyte is less than is not enough disk space to back up user data. And then at this point, you know, we can choose to have an admin get involved or think of some alternative way to do something. So you have a lot of options here. Ooh, we're getting there now. Are you typing along, enjoying it, have questions? There's a Discord link somewhere here. If not, and you can just come and chat. Next time, we're going to construct our XML and upload it to Blob storage and take a look at what's actually in there. So stay tuned.